And here we are for the final day of the Beer 52 Advent Calendar. I hope this is going to be a banger, and it needs to be a banger. It's the final day, Christmas Eve. We should be getting something really special. I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to end up with something shit. And if I do, I'm probably going to have a bit of a piss and a moan about it. But final day, we've had a few good beers now. I'm going to say probably a third of the beers I've pretty much really enjoyed. And I'm hoping that this is going to be one of them ones, maybe even an extra one. But yeah, before we crack on, just quickly, I'm going to say a big thank you to my missus for doing this for me, for getting me this. I know the beers haven't all been great, but she did put effort into it, and she has researched the beers that I've reviewed and I've had, and not one so far out of the 23 days of beers that I've ever had. So big thank you to you, missus, much appreciated. So I'm going to stop talking now. We're going to get on to day 24, the last beer there at the bottom. Let's get it open and see what we're going to have to review. Please be a big one. The annoying thing is it's a small tin, so that's pissed me off straight away. Come on, it's Christmas Eve, put a big tin in there. Let's get her out. Does it really matter now? It doesn't matter, does it? Let's rip the bugger open. Let's see what we get. Right, okay. Now, to be fair, we've probably got something special here. It's a shame it's only a 330ml, and it's from a Spanish brewery called Basqueland. I think they're out of Barcelona, but I could be wrong. And this is a can of their chocolate mousse. And this is an Imperial Pastry Stout, 330ml. Get in there, coming in at 11% ABV. So brilliant. I'm looking forward to that one. I think that should be good. So let's go and get this cracked open and see what we get. I may well just give it a little bit of chilling down because it might be a touch warm now, but that should be decent. Let's go. Right, we're back in the beer review room. It's day 24, as you know. Literally 30 seconds ago I was telling you all this, but I've been and I've chilled the beer. And actually, between chilling the beer and, well, between talking to you last time, chilling the beer, I've had 3 pints. So we've had a couple of pints in between, and we've got this big beer now. So just a quick reminder, one from Basqueland, day 24 of the Beer 52 Advent Calendar, the last day. I was hoping for something big and decent, and that is what we've got. I've not tried it yet, obviously, but I'm expecting it to be very good. From Basqueland, out of Barcelona, I believe. Chocolate mousse, Imperial Pastry Stout, 330ml, 11% ABV. So it's just got the slightest of chills on now, because the case has been in the dining room just all the time. So it's probably, you know, about 17, 18 degrees, which you want it just that little bit cooler, don't you? There is a slight chill on the can, but I wouldn't say it's particularly warm. Cracking artwork. So let's get this poured into a stout glass and see what we get. I've not bothered with the Beer 52 glass. I'm thinking this is going to be good, so I'm going to whack it in the Bourbon County barrel aged stout glass, because I think this beer is going to deserve it, and I hope it does. So let's stop talking. Let's get it cracked open, see what we get. I hope you're all having a really good Christmas Eve. Obviously, by the time this goes up, I'm going to be releasing this very early Christmas Eve. But maybe by the time you decide to watch it, it's well and truly full. It splashed me everywhere. I've got stout everywhere, which is a bit of a pain in the backside. There we go. It all goes wrong. It all goes wrong. It's a well-filled can. That's all I'm going to say. Has splattered a bit on the glass there, as you can maybe see. Depending on when you watch this, 7 o'clock in the morning, I hope you're having a good Christmas Eve. You probably won't be yet. You've just opened your eyes. But if you're watching this a bit later on, hope you've had a great Christmas Eve and looking forward to tomorrow. Let's get this poured in, see what we get. Imperial Stout, Pastry Stout, Spanish one. 11% ABV, and that is looking fabuloso. It's got to be said. That is looking fantastico. Fantastico, fabuloso. All the words are coming out today. All the words are coming out today. So there we go. All the beer in a glass. Jet Blackaroony. There is absolutely nothing getting through that. So I'm going to call that jet black. I'm not convinced that it is actually jet black. I think it's about as dark brown to black as it can be, but there is no light getting through. We've got a lovely finger of compact, sort of dark head, almost espresso sort of head that you get in a coffee, if you like. If you know what I mean, anyone that drinks that sort of stuff will know that you get that dark tan sort of froth around the edges, but it looks like that. Not seeing any carbonation go up, though I wouldn't be surprised if there is some. Looks decent. Imperial pastry stout. Chocolate mousse. I'm expecting this to be very chocolatey. I'm not even going to try and read anything on there. There we go. If you want to pause that and try and make head nor tail of it, you can. I'm just going to go in for a sniff. I've got beer running down my leg there. Looks good. Let's dive in. Have a sniff. Oh. Who doesn't like the smell of chocolate? Seriously, especially at Christmas. Oh. Milk chocolate, dairy milk chocolate. Oh, it just smells fantastic. And that is the only aroma. Oh, just smooth, creamy milk chocolate. No sign of any alcohol in there. I'm going to say, putting the beer around the glass, there is a slight oily residue, but I wouldn't say a massive amount. Wow, as chocolate mousse, it really is. It smells fantastic. I'm going to stop talking. Basqueland, I think out of Barcelona, please correct me if I'm wrong. And their chocolate mousse, imperial pastry stout, not sour, coming in at 11% ABV. Cheers. Okay. Very odd in the sense that you get that espresso colour on the head, but you don't really pick up any coffee notes on the nose. So you don't really expect coffee in it to a certain extent. But there is a big coffee thing going on in this and a big bitterness. Let me just wipe that. Oh, God, I only painted this not long ago. Got paint all up, beer all up the wall. Let's go in again. Body of the beer. All right, okay. 11%, you might think this is going to be thick. This is going to be really sort of heavy, really chewy. And it is. It's got a weight to it. And it is quite dense and it is quite heavy. But it's maybe not as heavy as you expect. It's certainly, for me, not as heavy as the Rivington Army of Darkness collaboration. Or the Rivington collaboration with Emperor's Army of Darkness. It's not as heavy as that for me. That was 10%. But the body on this beer is really, really very good. Would I say it's better than the Omnipollo one? Probably on a par, but that was 6%. So in that sense, I would say that beer had a better body than this, just comparing it to the ABV. Unbelievably smooth. Really, 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 really smooth. Really soft. Low in carbonation. Absolutely gorgeous mouthfeel. Silky. Oily. Really, really, really smooth, like I said. An excellent beer. But I think on this occasion for me, it takes you by surprise when you first taste it, because you get so much sort of lovely sweet chocolate notes on the nose and no sign of coffee. But when you taste it and you go in, you are hit with a really big coffee note. And the coffee note is nice. Yeah, it's coffee. It's what you expect. The downside, well, it's not what you expect, because you're going in there thinking it's just going to be all chocolate, and it's not. But you do get this massive coffee note, which is nice, but it does leave you with quite a strong sort of bitterness. And for me personally, I find that bitterness a little bit too much. We'll go on to more of the tasting notes now though. So for me, on the start, you get the milk chocolate sort of thing going on, what you get on the nose. You get that. You almost get a creaminess going on. And behind that, very much a big coffee note, a roasty note. And then as that goes on, that roastiness and the bitterness from the roastiness, I think is a touch too overpowering. Considering this is a pastry stout, I think the bitterness overpowers the sweetness. And for me, lets it down a little bit, which is such a shame. Because, and again, I suppose it comes down to personal taste. This is a fantastic beer, and it is a great beer, but it's not quite as good as I was expecting. It's got everything, but it is just that bitterness that is a little bit too much. Now, if you're somebody that drinks black coffee, that may well be something. I don't drink black coffee. I don't think I've hardly ever tried it, but I think I recall from when I have tried it, the bitterness has always been big. And that is what this does. For me, for a pastry stout, I know it's imperial, for a pastry stout, it's a little bit too bitter and not sweet enough. That bitterness just leaves it a little bit wanting more sweetness for me. The 11% is very well hidden. Yeah, it feels a little bit boozy. More around the 7-8% mark rather than 11. Very roasty. Not really picking up any sort of a dark fruit note, which you maybe wouldn't expect from the pastry sort of stout side of it. It's really nice for me until that bitterness just starts kicking in. And it just kicks in a little bit too much. But nonetheless, this is a great beer. And it's nice to finish on a big beer, a proper big beer. It's just a shame it wasn't that little bit sweeter for me. But a great beer nonetheless. And I know this is a Christmas Eve one. If anyone watches this, well, there will be a few, hopefully. I'm going to imagine that this is probably going to be most people's Christmas Eve beer in the box. I would save it till Christmas night. Christmas night. Once you've had all your big piles of food and what have you, and you're nibbling on sausage rolls and shit, and you want a finishing night beer, that's the one to finish off on for me. For my own personal taste, not as great as it should have been, but a fantastic beer. And you can tell it's a decent beer. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up just for that reason. I'm not going to bring my personal taste into it. If you like your coffee, you like your strong sort of coffee, you're going to love this. But I do think you'll be a little bit fooled by what you get on the nose. So there you go. That's the final day of the Beer 52 Advent Calendar. Like I said, I think about a third of these beers have hit the spot. 8 to 9 beers maybe out of this box have really hit the spot personally for me and were really worthy of going in it. The others, there's been quite a few disappointing ones and there's been some very average ones. But it's been an experience, and like I say, I appreciate the wife putting the effort in to get me this. So there we go. That's it. 2024 over for the Advent calendar. I hope you've enjoyed the reviews. I'd like to know all your thoughts on the beers that you've had. So please go for all my videos, day 1 to 24. I've not necessarily named the beers, not to start off with. So if you want to go through and then just comment. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the videos. And not one beer have I had in this box. So that's great. I'm going to end it there because I'm just waffling now. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas Eve and your New Year if I don't actually put any videos up and talk to anyone. But yeah, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. I will still be doing it next year, as far as I know at the moment. So, look after yourselves. Thanks for watching. Cheers.